It wasn't a bill. It was a threat, disguised as a welcome letter. When I moved into Willow Ridge Heights, just outside Los Angeles, it felt like a dream come true. A new start, a quiet street, sunshine, palm trees, and peace. Or so I thought. 3 days after moving in, I opened my mailbox and found a white envelope. No stamp, no return address. Inside was a typed note. Welcome to Willow Ridge. Follow the rules or lose what's yours. At first I thought it was a prank. LA is full of weird people, right? But then the next morning, something changed. My mailbox had a red sticker that said violation. No one else had one. Only me. I called the HOA office listed on my house paperwork. The woman on the phone spoke softly, almost rehearsed. You've already violated Section 4 of the agreement. What agreement? I asked. The one you signed the day you moved in. I checked my documents. No mention of any Section 4, no extra contract. And yet $250 had already been withdrawn from my account. Automatically. That night, my neighbor, an older man named Mr. Phelps, knocked on my door. He whispered, "You got a letter too, didn't you?" Before I could answer, he looked over his shoulder and said, "Don't talk to them. Don't argue. Just keep your lights off after midnight." Then he walked away, his hands trembling. That's when I realized this wasn't just an HOA. This was something bigger, something watching. I thought it was just about money until I found the hidden cameras buried in my garden. The cameras weren't for protection. They were for control. The next morning, I went outside to trim the small patch of grass behind my house. The sun was barely up, the air still heavy with California mist. That's when I noticed something strange. A small glint of metal near the edge of my flower bed. At first I thought it was just a bottle cap. But when I dug a little deeper, I pulled out a tiny black lens. A camera. It was wired directly into the ground. I followed the cable under the soil until it led straight toward the back fence, right where the HOA's maintenance shed stood. Someone had been watching me. I ran inside, checked behind the curtains, under the porch light, even inside the mailbox. 2 more hidden devices. One aimed at my door, one at the kitchen window. My hands were shaking when I called the HOA office again. The same soft voice answered, "Willow Ridge Management, how may I assist you?" "Who installed surveillance equipment on my property?" I demanded. A pause, then calmly. "Sir, all residents are monitored for safety and compliance." It's in Section 4 again. That night I decided to dig deeper, literally. Under the garden, beneath the wiring, I found something worse. A buried control box labeled Property Sync Unit. Inside were slots for multiple connections. Mine wasn't the only feed. Whoever was running this system was watching the entire neighborhood. Just as I was taking photos, I heard footsteps behind the fence. A flashlight beam swept across the grass. "Hey!" I shouted. The light froze, then vanished. Minutes later, my phone buzzed. A text message, no name, no number. Tampering with community property is a federal offense. I dropped my phone. Someone was out there, watching me, and they knew exactly what I'd done. That night, I realized the cameras weren't to keep people out. They were to keep us in. What if your home isn't protecting you? It's reporting you. After finding those cameras buried in my garden, I couldn't sleep. Every flicker of light through the blinds felt like an eye opening in the dark. So at 2 a.m., I grabbed my laptop and started checking the smart devices in my home. Wi-Fi thermostat, security lights, smart TV. Even the baby monitor in the guest room, all connected to the same network. But one device stood out. A connection I didn't recognize, marked Central Node, WRG_main. I tried disconnecting it, but the system froze. A message popped up on my screen. Unauthorized access detected. Contact your HOA representative. My blood went cold. Even my own house was linked to them. The next morning, I drove straight to the HOA office in downtown Los Angeles. It was a sleek glass building with smiling posters about community harmony on the walls. Inside, the receptionist looked up and smiled. "Mr. Cole, we were expecting you." "Expecting me?" Before I could speak, a man in a tailored suit stepped forward, gray hair, calm eyes, and a handshake that felt like a trap. "Evan Marks." "Regional Director. Why don't we talk privately?" He led me into a soundproof office, cameras in every corner. I told him everything: the buried lenses, the hidden network, the invasion of privacy. He just smiled. "You signed consent when you moved in, Mr. Cole." "Page 6, Section 4. I slammed my hands on the desk. "That doesn't give you the right to spy on me." He leaned forward, voice soft but sharp. "You misunderstand. We're not spying on you. We're protecting our investment." Then he slid a folder across the table. Inside were photos of me at home, every angle, every movement. Some taken from inside my house. I felt sick. How did you get these?" "Let's just say," he replied, "your home works both ways." I left the building shaking, my phone buzzing in my pocket. Another message. "Stop asking questions, Mr. Cole, or we'll turn off more than your lights." That was the night I realized my home wasn't mine anymore. It belonged to them. They said the cameras were for safety, but who's watching the watchers? After that meeting, I knew I couldn't stay in the house another night. Emma packed a few bags while I tore through the breaker box, cutting power to every smart device. Still, the cameras kept blinking. Even offline, something was feeding them. I drove to a small tech repair shop downtown, the kind that fixes hacked phones and sells untraceable routers. The guy behind the counter was young, scruffy, with tattoos of circuit boards on his wrists. His name tag said Cade. I handed him a flash drive with the footage I'd found. "Can you trace where this is being sent?" I asked. He plugged it in, typed for a few seconds, then froze. "Dude," he whispered, "this isn't some hobby hacker. This network's routed through a private cloud based in Silicon Valley. You're looking at corporate-level encryption." My chest tightened. "Can you find who's behind it?" He hesitated, then started running deeper scripts. A string of data filled the screen: coordinates, server names, timestamps. Then he stopped and turned the monitor toward me. One username stood out: G_Marks_admin, Gary Marks, the same HOA director who'd claimed the surveillance was for safety. But there was more. Attached to his account were access logs showing dozens of live connections from homes across California. Families unknowingly streaming their private lives to some unseen viewer. "What the hell is this?" I muttered. Cade shook his head. "Not just a feed, man. It's a data farm. They're selling homeowner surveillance to investors, behavioral analytics, buying patterns, movement data. You name it, I felt sick. My family wasn't just being watched, we were being monetized." Before we could dig deeper, the shop lights flickered. Then, pop, total blackout. Cade swore, "That's not a city outage. Someone just killed my power remotely." We ran outside. Across the street, a black SUV idled with its headlights off. Then it rolled away. Cade looked at me, face pale. "You didn't tell me who you're up against, man." I pulled my phone from my pocket, only to find the screen flashing white, resetting itself. All my files, messages, gone. They'd found me again. That night I didn't go home. I drove through the empty streets of Los Angeles, neon lights blurring in my windshield, thinking about how far this had gone. I wasn't just fighting an HOA anymore. I was fighting a system built to control, record, and erase anyone who got too close. If I wanted to stop them, I had to find the one man who built their system and make him talk. Every system has a creator, and if I could find him, maybe I could finally end this. For 2 nights straight, I barely slept. Every sound outside felt like footsteps. Every flicker of a streetlight made me reach for the curtain. But I knew one thing for sure. If I wanted answers, I had to find the person who designed the HOA's surveillance network. According to Cade, the original system wasn't built for neighborhoods at all. It was part of a private security AI project, shut down years ago for violating privacy laws. The developer disappeared. No address, no ID, just a name buried in a corporate file. Elias Varon. Through a few dark web forums, Cade found whispers of someone using that alias near Echo Park, Los Angeles. A ghost who repaired encrypted drives for cash and didn't trust anyone with power. So that night, I went looking. Echo Park after midnight is a different world. The air feels heavy, the lights too dim, and every shadow looks like it's watching you. I followed an address scrawled on a napkin to an abandoned storage building. The door was cracked open, faint light pulsing from inside. "Elias?" I called out. A voice answered, calm but sharp. "You shouldn't have found me." He stepped into view, mid-40s, thin, eyes sunken but alert. His fingers never stopped moving, typing on a keyboard connected to 3 glowing monitors. "You built this," I said. "The system they're using to spy on people." He shook his head. "I built a prototype, meant for disaster response, not surveillance. They stole it, changed the code, monetized fear." I slammed a photo onto the desk, a still image from one of my house's hidden cameras. "They're watching families, Elias. They're blackmailing people. You have to help me shut it down." He hesitated, then sighed. "You're already in too deep, Mr. Cole. But—" He turned one monitor toward me. "There's something you should see." Lines of code scrolled across the screen, ending with a live feed. It wasn't from my house. It was from inside the HOA headquarters in downtown LA. Rows of servers, dozens of feeds, every house in my neighborhood. Then the camera panned, and I froze. There, standing in front of the servers, was Evan Marks, the regional director I'd met before. Except this time, he wasn't alone. Another man stood beside him, older, wearing a black suit, face hidden in shadow. Elias whispered, "That's not your HOA director. That's the investor funding all of this." I leaned closer. "Who is he?" He stared at the screen. "You wouldn't believe me if I told you." That was the moment I realized. I wasn't fighting corruption anymore. I was fighting a machine built to control lives, and it had just noticed me. When I finally saw his face, I understood. This wasn't about homes. It was about control. The air inside that storage unit felt heavier than the smog outside. Elias stared at the live feed, hands trembling just slightly. The older man on screen, the one standing beside Evan Marks, wasn't just any investor. "He's not supposed to exist," Elias muttered. "His name is Thomas Calder, but you won't find him on any public records. He owns the holding company that manages over 70 HOAs across California, all under different names." I leaned closer. "So he's the one running everything?" Elias shook his head slowly. "No, he's the face of it. The one you're meant to find." The feed suddenly flickered. The camera inside the HQ turned, and for a split second I saw something chilling. A wall-sized map of Los Angeles with hundreds of red dots, each marked with an HOA name. Elias whispered, "Those aren't neighborhoods. Those are access points." Before I could ask more, the monitors went black. Elias jumped to his feet. "They've found the signal. You need to go. Now." I grabbed my phone, my heart pounding. "Come with me." He shook his head, eyes darting to the window. "They'll track me if I leave. I'll slow you down. Take this." He handed me a small hard drive, wrapped in duct tape. "Everything you'll need is on here. Their contracts, their data routes, and a file labeled Calder_origin. It's proof." Then he turned to the keyboard one last time and began typing a self-destruct command. The monitors started smoking, static rising. "Go!" he shouted. I bolted through the alley just as headlights flared from a black SUV at the corner. Tires screeched. I ducked behind a dumpster, clutching the drive to my chest. From inside the unit I heard Elias's voice. One last line before everything exploded in light and sound. "Don't let them rewrite the city!" When I finally reached safety, I plugged the drive into my laptop. The first file opened automatically. Security footage dated 2 years earlier. It showed Calder shaking hands with a man I recognized immediately, the mayor of Los Angeles. They weren't building neighborhoods. They were building surveillance zones. Every HOA property, every smart home, all feeding data into Calder's private network. A silent operation shaping real estate prices, elections, and population control. My hands shook as I realized the truth. They weren't just watching homeowners. They were controlling cities, and Elias had just died to prove it. Elias was gone. But what he left behind was bigger than both of us. Proof that Los Angeles wasn't being governed. It was being programmed. They built a city of cameras. But they forgot one thing. Cameras can capture the truth, too. The night Los Angeles went dark, I knew it was time. City blocks lost power one by one, not because of an outage, but because of a purge. The HOA network was collapsing from the inside, and Calder was trying to erase every trace of what he'd built. I had Elias's hard drive, the only surviving proof, but I also knew it wouldn't stay safe for long. So I contacted the one person I still trusted, Cade. We met in an underground parking lot beneath an abandoned mall in East LA. He plugged the drive into his laptop and whistled softly. Man, this is way beyond local corruption. This is predictive control. They've been using homeowner data to plan city expansions, land acquisitions, even elections. I swallowed hard. Then let's finish it. Let's show the world. But before we could upload anything, headlights filled the garage. A black sedan rolled up, slow and silent. Evan Marks stepped out, calm, smiling, the same way he did at our first meeting. "Michael," he said, voice smooth as glass, "you've made quite a mess." I pulled the hard drive from Cade's laptop and held it tight. "This ends tonight." Evan took a step closer. "You think this story will change anything? Cities run on control. People want to feel safe. They don't care who's watching as long as they're comfortable." He smirked. "That's why we'll win." But before he could take another step, Cade hit enter. The entire feed went live, streamed straight to public servers and mirrored across social media. Within seconds, the images appeared everywhere. Calder, the mayor, the secret HOA maps. All of it. Evan froze, his expression twisting from confidence to fury. "You don't know what you've done." "I think I do," I said. "You've been watching everyone." Now the world's watching you, sirens echoed in the distance. Not HOA patrols this time, but real law enforcement. Federal from the sound of it. Evan turned to leave, but before he vanished into the darkness, he muttered one final line. "You exposed us, Michael, but there are others." And just like that, he was gone. Days later, the story broke worldwide. Massive HOA surveillance network uncovered in Los Angeles. Arrests followed. Investigations spread across multiple states. Emma and I finally moved out of Maple Creek Estates. What was left of it, anyway. But even in our new home, I still catch myself glancing at the corners of the ceiling, wondering if an invisible lens is staring back. Because if Elias was right, Los Angeles wasn't the only city they'd programmed. They thought they could watch us forever. But the truth always finds a lens. If you were watching till now, thank you. Don't forget to subscribe for more real-life inspired mystery thrillers. Next story coming soon. And this time the secret lies beneath the city itself.